Every 300 years, the English oak trees of Friendship Park gathered to celebrate family, love, and friendship. As the first chilly wind of the year whistled through the park, the oldest oak, centered among the youngest sprouts, told of a youngling's tale called The Last Acorn. And so the story began. While the dirt beneath our roots turned and the night crept, the morning light was soon to appear. A snowflake fell silently from the sky, sparking a desire within a young park squirrel named Tellee. It was known by most that this selfish squirrel had already collected and stored away more food than he needed, especially acorns. But as the cold wind would tell, Tellee wanted them all, especially the last acorn. The crescent moon over the city sky was a reminder that a new day was about to begin. After a quick run around the park, Tellee located the last acorn, but he also found a challenge. The special nut was held by the oldest tree in the park, Oakley.
I know what you want,
the tree said as Tellee eyeballed the acorn.
but you cannot have it. It's the last acorn and it is very special to me. You must be worthy of such a treat. Tell me, little squirrel.
Oakley continued.
Tell me why you want the last acorn. Everyone knows you have more than you need.
Well, of course I do,
Tellee said with a greedy little grin.
but I want more. It makes me happy.
Oakley grunted.
Happy? You don't know what true happiness is.
Yes, I do,
Tellee replied.
it's the last acorn.
Interesting.
Oakley said.
That may be true, little squirrel, but it all depends on what you do with it.
Well, isn't it obvious?
Tellee said.
I'm gonna eat it.
Okay.
Oakley grinned.
Let's make a deal. If you can guess what makes me happy, I will give you the last acorn. I will even give you a little hint. Happiness is where you find it.
Let me think.
Tellee said.
That's silly. If happiness is where you find it, and I don't know where to look, how can it ever be found?
Oh, I promise it can be found, little squirrel. But only if you are willing to look for it.
Oakley smiled.
I will give you to the end of the day. Stroll through the park, and I'm sure the answer we seek will be found. Return to me with an answer at day's end.
Although unsure where to start, Tellee agreed to the challenge and began scurrying around. Daylight was near, and nature's clock was ticking. Tellee stood beneath a park lamp and had a wishful thought.
If only I had a friend to help me find happiness.
And then, the who happened.
Who's down there?
An angry owl called from above.
I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, hello, Al. I'm sorry.
Tellee answered.
I'm just trying to find some happiness.
Well, find it somewhere else.
The owl snapped.
Who's happy anyway? Not me, not without my daytime sleep.
I'll be on my way then,
Tellee said as he hurried away hoping to avoid trouble. Tellee parted with the owl in a blink of an eye, only to find a fearless wolf on the prowl. Just before Tellee could run away, the wolf spoke.
Hey, don't be scared, little squirrel.
The wolf chuckled.
I already had my fill of rodents for the day.
Tellee asked cautiously.
That's good news for me, but still, how do I know I can trust you? We both know that sometimes you like to eat squirrels.
Well,
The wolf replied.
that's a good point, little squirrel. I am a wolf and I do eat squirrels. That's true. But unlike you, I only take what I need to survive. As long as I'm free to prowl in the park with a full belly, I'm in no hurry to find problems. Do you understand, little squirrel?
Honestly,
Tellee said.
I don't, but I'm not gonna wait around to figure it out.
Tellee ran toward the blue fence that separated the city from the park.
Maybe happiness is on the other side, where the light shines.
Hey, what the heck, big squirrel?
A wall lizard yelled.
You're blocking my light.
Oh, whoops, I didn't know.
Tellee explained.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking for happiness.
No worries.
The lizard replied.
I'm just looking to get warmed in the sunlight.
Tellee scooted slightly. The sunlight showered onto the lizard.
Does that make you happy?
Tellee asked. The lizard answered with an amazing grin and showed appreciation by dancing in the shining light.
Tellee yelled, "That's it! That might be the answer I'm looking for. Thank you, lizard. Bye-bye."
Hey, wait.
The lizard yelled,
What answer? What was the question?
but it was already too late. Tellee had vanished from the lizard's sight. The sun approached the highest point in the sky. Tellee wanted to run straight for the old oak tree, but remembered the deal. He was to return at day's end. So Tellee ventured to the park's sunflower garden and managed to scrounge up a hard-shelled seed to nibble. It was so tasty that Tellee had to yell it out for all to hear.
Now that is true happiness.
Not surprisingly, Tellee's joyous yells attracted attention. Above the sunflowers, a chirping butterfly and a singing hummingbird swooped in. The hummingbird sang,
Sweet sugary nectar makes me happy. Sweet sugary nectar makes my wings extra flappy.
Then the butterfly rudely interrupted.
Well, actually, have you ever tried orange slicing? That will put some fuzz on your wing.
Tellee sat quietly and listened as the two flying friends argued. One thing became clear to Tellee. Happiness is different for everyone. As the sun drifted lower in the sky, Tellee arrived at the park's west side bridge where the rabbits liked to gather. Unsurprisingly, Tellee met a bunny there. Tellee asked,
Hey, Puffytail,
as the bunny liked to be called.
what is that orange thing you're sitting on?
The bunny said.
It's the last carrot.
Right, okay, I can see that.
Tellee said.
But why are you sitting on it?
Don't you know?
The bunny giggled.
To protect it, of course. Then I'll eat it. I love my veggies.
The bunny picked up the carrot and hopped away before Tellee could say goodbye. A cold winter's wind blew through the park, a clear sign that day's end had arrived. Tellee approached the old English oak.
You're right on time.
Oakley said.
Did you find happiness today?
Tellee hesitated to answer and briefly thought about the long day.
No, I'm not sure. I spent all day walking through the park just as you asked, and I found that happiness is everywhere, but it can also be anything. Sleep for the owl, freedom for the wolf, sunshine for the lizard, nectar for the hummingbird, orange slices for the butterfly, and veggies for the bunny. What makes you happy? I may never know unless you tell me.
Okay,
Oakley said.
I'll help you. Look with your eyes and tell me what you see that is all around you me.
Tellee looked to the left and glanced to the right.
I don't know. All I see is other trees just like you, and other creatures just like me.
That's right.
Oakley smiled.
The creatures are my friends and those trees are my family. They are the ones I love the most. True happiness is to be near the ones you love.
Oakley was pleased with what Tellee had learned during the day, and even though the English oak would not produce another acorn for about 300 years, it decided that Tellee was worthy of such a gift. Oakley's eyes slowly closed for a long winter's sleep, and the last acorn fell to the ground. The winter was not too cold, and there was no lack of food, but for the first time, Tellee counted the days and the nights until the first day of spring. He could not forget what Oakley had said. True happiness is to be near the ones you love. Tellee wanted to be near the ones he loved, so he kept the last acorn close to his heart, and he decided not to eat it. Soon, the days were getting longer and the sun warmed the world. The first day of spring arrived, and the creatures of Friendship Park were out and about. One peek out of the tree hole, and Tellee knew it would be a great day.
It's time to wake up,
Tellee said as he approached the old English oak. Oakley's eyes opened wide to see Tellie's smiling face.
I've got a surprise for you,
The squirrel said, taking 2 steps to the left to reveal a tiny oak sprout. Tellee had planted the last acorn. Oakley was shocked.
Is that what I think it is?
Yeah,
Tellee replied.
the long winter gave me plenty of time to think, and as I waited for you to wake, I realized that happiness is not just the last acorn. True happiness is a friendship and family that it creates. So I planted the last acorn because you are my friend, and it is your family.
And so the story ended. The old English oak, centered among its young, finished telling the traditional story.
You see, my young little sprouts, that is how a family started and how a little squirrel became a worthy friend. Someday in about 300 years, you too may meet a greedy little squirrel, hungry for the last acorn. And if you do, remember this simple question: what makes you happy?
You could also find Tellee and The Last Acorn on Amazon. Thank you. True happiness is to be near the ones you love.